welcome to my channel, Candidly Chaotic. On this channel, I share our homeschooling journey, family adventures, and mom life. So if those things sound interesting or helpful to you, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That does help my channel out a lot, and it will help it so that it pops up for you when new content comes. The notification button apparently too is something you have to hit if you want to actually get a notification. So anyways, and also I now have an Instagram account, so that will be linked in the description box if you want to see some more like day-to-day things and maybe be able to interact a little bit more. I would really love that. So go ahead and follow me on Instagram if that is interesting to you. Today's video is about budgeting. So I have seen some people doing some, like homeschool budgeting hacks and stuff like that, as well as how you live on one curriculum, one income. And I think that those are super helpful. I think we can glean so much from each other and make things work for us in our personal situation and our family situation. And so I just wanted to share maybe something helpful can come to you from this video. Okay, so first of all, I feel like it's really important to put this disclaimer in. I kind of already did, but everybody's different. Everybody's season of life is different. Everybody's finances are different. Personal preferences are different. And so please just know that this is how we do it. I hope that you find something that works for you, and it may not be what I do. Yeah, so, and I'm not judging anybody who does it differently. This is not the be all end all. So please just listen with that in mind. Okay, so I also want to say that my husband and I have lived through a few different seasons of finances in our marriage, and that we have learned a lot of things in every season. When we first got married, neither of us worked a lot because we were both still actually in college, and so it was a super tight season, and we learned so much during that season. And then we also had a different season in life where we were both working at, we never were rich or anything like that, but there was a time when we were both working full time at, pretty good jobs before we had kids. And so we had a little bit of extra, leeway. And so we learned some great lessons there about, things that we feel are important to continue to experience while still paying off debt and saving and all that stuff. So I just want to encourage you to learn from the seasons in life that you have already experienced, figure out what worked and what didn't, and just maybe what lessons you were learning during that season and how you can apply it to now. With all of that said, this is how we navigate living on one income. So like I said, we are not rich. Yeah, just that. So money gets tight, and we do have to pay attention. So we are a family of 4. I have 2 kids, and we actually have 1 on the way. And so we will be a family of 5, and we're working on preparing for baby and stuff like that. But so what we do to navigate living on one income is, first of all, we have a budget, and we really try to stick to it whenever possible. Basically, it has to be a really specific circumstance for me and my husband to decide not to stick to the budget. And to have a budget, there's all different ways that you can make a budget, but I like the You Need a Budget app and website. I feel it just works so well for us. The features that they have are just perfect for what we're looking for. And my husband has it on his phone, and I have it on my phone. And so if for some reason, we talk about most of our things, but if, there's a category that he spends money from I can look and see, do we have money in that or not? Oh, no, we don't. So we can both see out and about. It updates on its own, and that's really helpful so that we don't make rash decisions and then come back and look at our budget and say, oh crud, we didn't actually have that money. So that is a feature that I really like. I also really like this budget this budget app, because how I have it set up is a lot of it is automatic. And I think that that's kind of like my tip number 2, is that not only do we have a budget, but most of our budget is automatically spoken for. Now, in times past, it has been because we were just extremely, extremely, extremely tight, and every single, money item needed to go for necessities. That is a little bit less true now. And even though that's a little bit less true now, we still have a lot of our monies going automatically to certain categories. So how I have it set up is every time my husband gets a paycheck, which we know when he's getting it, and we know how much his paycheck is going to be, so that probably affects this a little bit because he's salary, and so it's always the same. But certain money goes for how much we know we will need to pay for all of our bills, our groceries, our, all that kind of stuff that we know we're going to have to pay. That automatically gets put into all the categories every paycheck. And then at this point in time, thankfully, we are able to set aside some money to go towards other bills, things that we want to pay down quickly, like student loans and such. And so that also automatically happens because my husband and I have found if we are making those choices every single paycheck where that money goes, we do not tend to always make the right decision on, paying something off versus doing something fun or something that we want. We tend to choose the thing that's now versus the thing that helps us down the road. And so when it automatically happens, then I just don't even have to think about it. It's already done. And so I really, really like that. And then the budget just helps us, we check it. Do we have money for this thing that we're considering purchasing or doing? Oh, no, we don't. Okay, we can't do it. And it's, it's done. And then if it's something that we need or really think is very valuable and it's in a certain time frame, then we look at the whole budget and say, can we move things around? But that is where having a budget and having things just kind of automatically happen for us has been exactly what we need to stay inside of our budget and help us to, make some of our goals. So those are the first 2 really big things that have helped us on living on one income. Some other smaller, I guess, more practical day-to-day things are that I really, really pay attention to our grocery bills. We like to go to Costco because it does save us money in the long run to get certain things there in bulk that maybe we use all the time, or it just helps us to budget better. So I do like doing that. I watch sales, I watch for coupons. I do all of that kind of stuff. I have recently started using the Fetch app. So I don't really know how much, I'll earn from that because it's new. I did use the Ibotta app, but honestly, a lot of the brands and stuff that were on there, we don't use, and buying them would make my grocery bill go up. And so why would I do that? So I don't love Ibotta, but I have used it. But I definitely utilize coupons and sales as much as possible. I really like, in my grocery budget, I do a meal plan. That way I don't get crazy with what we're buying. And I kind of know what food is needed when, and that helps our grocery budget. But then also, if there's sales happening at the store, I utilize the sales too to save money in the long run. So that's my number 3 thing, is to pay attention to your grocery bills and to do what you can there. Tip number 4 is that we tend to save up for things that maybe people would just go ahead and do, like any kids activities, or we like to camp, and so we are cognizant of that. When we have maybe a little extra money one week, we tuck some away for those kinds of things. That way, when those things come up, we can do those things without breaking our budget. And so we do save more slowly towards things that people might just go ahead and buy on a whim or do on a whim. We tend to do that way, way less. And that has really been helpful, and sometimes just super a necessity, depending on how tight our budget has been. Okay, number 5. These are not necessary. I mean, the first 2 things were like, those are my top, those are just the big things. But then other than this, they're not really, like, after that, they're not really in any certain order of like importance. So this one is we reduce our bills as much as possible. So people do this anyways, but we are very cognizant of, electricity bill and water bill and all that kind of stuff. So what things can we be doing to reduce our use of those? It's helpful for the environment as well as it's helpful for our pocketbook. So we're constantly making sure that lights aren't on when they don't need to be. We're constantly making sure that things are not turned on when they don't need to be, that we unplug things when they don't need to be plugged in. We're pretty careful about all of that. And we try to be very careful about we live in town, so we have to pay for water. And so we're pretty careful about that as well. So number 6 would be, I try to utilize sales and, reuse things wherever possible, especially when it comes to my kids' clothes. We have a consignment sale, a local consignment sale that's pretty big, and the prices are usually really good, or at least helpful in helping us save when we get our growing children's clothes. And so I try to use that first, and then I might go to a store like Once Upon a Child or something like that as well, to try and get, secondhand clothes that are still in very good condition. If people offer me hand-me-down clothes, I almost always say yes, because even if it's not something that is in 100% great shape, then we can use it as play clothes. We really use the sales as much as possible. Things that I don't really skimp on would be like tennis shoes, because those just get so much use, and I want my kids to be comfortable, and so that's maybe like the only thing. But other than that, they might have 1 or 2 nice outfits, but they're kids, they're gonna play. I don't worry super overly much about their clothes. They don't look, they look put together when they need to, but yeah, so I utilize sales a whole bunch. Number 7, I believe, is we don't go out to eat a whole bunch, really at all. Now, I will say lately we've been going out to eat a fair bit with my pregnancy, and really honestly, I'm going to blame it all on the pregnancy that we've been going out so much lately. It was really hard at the beginning. Food did not sound good at all, and then certain things would all of a sudden sound good, so we just go get it. And then just a couple convenience things. But normally, generally, we don't go out to eat very much. It's usually like oh no, we need food and we were doing this thing and it ran way over and now we need to go get some food. So that happens every once in a while. And then if we want to do something like a fun family eat out thing, it's not very often, and we save up for it. So eating out is just not something we do very often at all. And then, there's a ton of other things that I could talk about, but I think I'm going to say one more thing. As far as, I guess I should have talked about this with the kids' clothes, but when we have purchases that need to happen, like for instance, we needed to get my boys a new dresser, and our dining room chairs are falling apart, and so we need new dining room chairs. Those kinds of things, I will scour like Facebook Marketplace. We go to the Habitat for Humanity Restore and check it out every once in a while. We have a consignment, like a furniture consignment shop close to us. We check there often. So when things like that happen, I really try to get it secondhand, if at all possible, because you just save so much by doing that. And so there's a lot of things that we do try to get secondhand when possible. So this is, these are just skimming the surface, I think, of how we do one income. So I hope this is helpful. I feel like this is kind of went on and on, so I do apologize. Please let me know any tips that you have for living on a one income, budget, and just let us know in the comments. And I hope you have a great day. I will see you again in another video soon.